on the Mount of Olives and splits the Mount of Olives and appears in Jerusalem. That's what the church says. And then over 1,000 years of the millennium, that the world is reigned in two places, Jerusalem and Missouri. That's what the church says. The second coming, the arrival of Jesus Christ, our church says is in Jerusalem. That's the church doctrine.
Then Stephanopoulos misquoted your church, which is not surprising.
That's fine.
But I was basing my question on that.
Cleon Skousen has a book called 1,000 Years, so you can talk about Christ appears. It's throughout the Bible. Christ appears in Jerusalem, splits the Mount of Olives to stop the war that's coming in to kill all the Jews. It's our church believes that. That's where the coming in glory of Christ occurs. We also believe that over the 1,000 years that follows in the millennium, he will reign from two places.
Right.
That the law will come forward from one place and from Missouri, and the other will be in Jerusalem. All right, that's. But now back to abortion.
I have to get back on that.
Yeah, you got to.
But before we do anything else, I want you to understand one thing. I take this stuff real seriously.
Oh, I don't know. For me, this is all frivolous.
No, I take you. No, I'm serious. No, I take.
Come on, I'm running for president.
What do you? Just relax. Yeah. I take you seriously.
No, but I
take what you're saying seriously.
One of the most interesting accounts in your book is of then President Bush trying to persuade French President Jacques Chirac to support U.S. military action in Iraq. You write that Bush said to Chirac, quote, "Jacques, you and I share a common faith. You're Roman Catholic, I'm Methodist, but we are both Christians committed to the teachings of the Bible. We share one common Lord." Bush goes on to say, quote, "Gog and Magog are at work in the Middle East. Biblical prophecies are being fulfilled. This confrontation is willed by God, who wants to use this conflict to erase his people's enemies before a new age begins." End quote. Can you elaborate on that?
That was a very interesting day when I heard that. This was a phone call. At that point, Chirac had been expressing a great deal of doubt about the intelligence that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. His doubts, obviously, were well placed. And Bush was trying to get a unified effort behind getting a resolution from the UN and then for military action. And Chirac was not being particularly cooperative for the very reason he didn't trust the intelligence. And so there's this phone call, and Bush is giving many reasons why France should become part of it, why Chirac should be joining in. And he's not having a lot of success. And suddenly you shift into this religious conversation. And Chirac's response to this was, he gets off the phone, and other people have been in on the call, and he looks at his staff and says, "Does anyone know what he was talking about?" And his administration, someone there reaches out to an expert on the Bible in Switzerland. And this person, because it's like, what is Gog and Magog? And this person writes up a report for, I just say this and it's surreal. He writes a report for the French president explaining these biblical terms that were cited by the President of the United States in this national security conversation. And Gog and Magog are from two books of the Bible, one the book of Ezekiel and one the book of Revelation, and it is central elements in the apocalyptic the Armageddon concept. And so Chirac's response when he reads this is, I'm dealing with a fanatic, and I'm not going to make national security decisions for France based on someone, the president's interpretation of
President Bush came to the summit to talk about his free trade policy that he says would help ease poverty and create jobs in the region.
Were there any eye-to-eye moments with President Bush that day, that night?
Yo digo que no hay que ser, ni hay que arrodillarse ante el poder, ni se necesita ser maleducado para decirle las cosas que tienen a aquellos que han usufructuado y han sojuzgado a nuestras naciones. Se genera una discusión en Monterrey y yo digo que acá la solución para generar rápidamente, ¿qué es la solución que hay que hacer ahora? Le dije a Bush, es un plan Marshall. Y se paró de la silla y se enojó. Me dijo, no, plan Marshall no, esa es una idea loca de los demócratas, me dice. Y que lo que hay que hacer acá y la mejor manera de dinamizar es, y Estados Unidos ha crecido en base a las guerras, me dijo. Así me lo dijo. Bueno, le digo, es un crecimiento. Dijo esas textuales palabras. Es decir que bueno, decía que Estados Unidos, nunca dijo América del Sur, que Estados Unidos, que era un error de los demócratas, que todo el crecimiento económico que había tenido Estados Unidos había sido en base a las distintas guerras que tuvo. Es decir, en la forma que a él le gustaba hablar fue clarito, ¿no es cierto? En eso no puedo dudar que fue clarito. Sabe que Bush es, el presidente Bush, todavía es...
President Bush is
Bueno, le quedan 6 días, ¿no?
well, he's only got 6 more days to go in office, right?
Yeah.